So I just turned 36, have never spoken about menopause to anyone. I know kind of what it is. It's
Yeah,
when we stop getting our period, but that
yeah,
is about the extent of my knowledge. So can you just explain to us what menopause is and what is
for
actually
sure.
happening to the body?
For sure, for sure. So menopause, like you said, is really the point in time in a woman's life where your menstrual cycles end. That's about it. But it's not. It's simply put. But really, in order for a woman to be fully in menopause, you would have to have not had a period for a year.
Mm.
So if you get to month 11 without a period, and then all of a sudden your period comes, you are not in menopause technically. You have
Mm.
to go a full year without a period and more, but that is the technical definition of it. But it's the time that's leading up to menopause that is actually of particular interest, because that is the time when the hormones start to fluctuate. It's like leading up to this menopause, the cessation of your cycles. And we call this phase perimenopause, or the menopause transitional phase. And during this time, the levels of your main hormones, progesterone and estrogen, tend to fluctuate. And this great fluctuation is really what leads to a lot of the uncomfortable symptoms that women
Mm.
experience.
When it comes to perimenopause, how long can someone be in that stage right
Mhm.
before it actually stops fully?
It can start anywhere in your from your late 30s and go all the way up into your 50s before
Oh,
you actually
wow.
see your period end. But for the majority of cases that I see in practice, it tends to be mid 40s where you're going to start to get mid to late 40s. The menopausal symptoms may begin. The key ones being the night sweats and the hot flashes. The main most known symptoms are those two particular symptoms, and they can start anywhere from late 30s and go all the way up into your 50s. But it's mostly the bracket is between age 45 and age 55.
And can those things happen, like the night sweats and what was the other one?
The hot flashes and the
The
night
hot
sweat.
flashes. Yeah. Can those ones happen before you have any changes in your actual period?
Yes, yeah.
Oh.
And there are sometimes women who they have their regular cycles, and they might go through a period of hormonal fluctuation where they're getting night sweats at night, or they're getting hot flashes. So it's really a symptom that is associated with menopause, but it could also happen during PMS for
Mm.
some women, right? So just as a symptom that happens with their monthly cycles, and it's just a sign that there is some hormonal fluctuations happening.
And so, do people start to experience these symptoms and obviously they don't like it? So then they go to see a physician or a naturopathic doctor. And then is it confirmed through blood work? Like, is that how it
Yeah.
works?
So, well, um, it's mostly based on your symptoms and what you're experiencing. So, some of the symptoms of perimenopause that we're considering here are things like irregular cycles, for example. So, your cycles might start to become a little bit more irregular. You might miss a cycle. You might get two periods in 1 month. That's
Mm,
one that you might see. You might get spotting in between your period.
I don't
So,
want that
those,
one.
no.
One period a month is enough.
I know. So those are some of the period sort of symptoms that you might see. But you also see things like the night sweats, the sleep disruption, so insomnia. You might see things like mood swings.
Mm.
So if you're more prone to depression and anxiety, for example, you might see that happening more around your cycle, or just random times when you're having these hormonal fluctuations. Now, there are some blood tests that can be done that myself, a naturopathic doctor or a medical doctor, can do, and this is your FSH and your LH, two hormones that can be tested in the blood, and that can give you a bit of an indication if you're nearing menopause, as they tend to rise in the blood during that time. But typically we look at the symptoms that are happening and use that to know, if there's something that's maybe going a little bit off kilter, or just fluctuating with respect to your hormonal profile.